Hello, this is Enis, Never Stop Trucking. Today we are talking about fuel cards. What are fuel cards? Why do carriers need them, and do dispatchers need the fuel cards? Fuel cards are cards that a driver can use at a truck stop to get fuel for their trucks, and they can get other things as well, such as DEF fluid. They can pay inside for additives. They can get a cash advance, and they can use it for a lot of trucking related things, but that's all up to the company whether they allow all that, since they are being used mostly for fuel purchases. So if a driver needs fuel and they need to fuel a big truck, they have to go usually to a truck stop. Some smaller gas stations have islands for trucks, but usually it's the big truck stops that have fuel pumps on both sides of the truck, because most of semi-trucks have tanks on both sides. And you can see advertisements on truck stops, like, diesel prices, but cash price is different. Okay, so if you were to go there and pay with a credit card, then you would most likely be charged more than the advertised cash price. Now, these fuel cards come in handy because when a driver goes to a truck stop to pay for the fuel, they get same price as cash. So it's better to use a fuel card as far as that goes. And you can't also, most of these smaller gas stations for cars, they will not accept them. So you're kind of limited to a truck stop. If you have a credit card, you swipe it and then you get charged back later. You have to pay your monthly statement. So at the end of the month, then you're supposed to pay your kind of borrowing money. If you have cash or a debit card, you have to pay right away. So you pay at the time of the purchase. Fuel cards are kind of like credit cards. They're like kind of in between. They act like credit cards because they have a line of credit. They have a limit. Let's say you have a carrier, with a smaller carrier with few trucks. Let's say they have a $10,000 or $50,000 weekly limit for their fuel purchases. So the way it works is, for example, with me, I'm using Fleet One cards with RTS discounts, and then you can check that in the description of the video. I have a link. You can get those cards right there with big discounts. The way it works is the week starts on Monday, and my trucks get fueled throughout the week all the way to Sunday night. Okay, and then on Monday morning I get an invoice from Fleet One, and they tell me how much fuel my trucks got. And I get an invoice, and then they charge me the next day. So Tuesday morning, I have to make sure that I have enough money to cover that purchase, because they tell me, like, let's just say it's like $5,000 for the past week. Then I know they're going to charge me $5,000 next morning. So it's kind of like a line of credit, where a driver does not have to pay right away at the time of the purchase. So if today, let's say today is Monday, and driver gets some fuel, well, I'm not going to get charged for that until next Tuesday. Okay, so next week I get charged for all the purchases from this week. And the nice thing about that is that this is not a credit card. There is no interest. Okay, you pay whatever they used, that you pay. The only thing is that most of these fuel cards, they have a charge. Like every time a card gets swiped, they have a charge anywhere from like 50 cents to like $3 per charge. Depends on a card. Okay, so that's the only thing. Every time a driver swipes the card, they have that small charge. But then on the other side, you get discounts. So if you were to buy fuel with cash or a check or a credit card, you won't get these discounts for the fuel. And these discounts can be very huge, depends on like the network that your card is with RTS. They are Flying J and Pilot and other smaller truck stops, Speedway, and you get a lot of discounts. So you can compare, like if the driver, got some fuel, and for that week, and then you see like they had like $100 or more in discounts. So it adds up, like 52 weeks a year, times that, and it really adds up. And if you have 5 to 10 trucks, it really adds up. Okay, so that's a benefit of having a fuel card. Fuel cards usually, like these Fleet One cars that I'm using, they're connected with EFS checks, because Fleet One is using EFS checks. So you can pay for lumpers with EFS check. You can pay for repairs or anything other than that on the road. And like, let's say you pay $200 for something, and at the end of the week, those $200 get charged. They charge you same with that fuel purchase on the same invoice. So altogether, they put it all together, the EFS checks and the fuel, DEF additives if your drivers had any, cash advances, and they charge you. So those are the fuel cards. Why do carriers have to have them? Well, because they don't have to use their money. Like if I have a truck, a company truck, and I have to do check every time they fuel, or they have to pay cash, or they have to use a debit card. I have to give them my debit card. It's connected to my account, and it's a lot of hassle and a lot of things involved with that. And then you have to pay. You have to have that money right away. And the thing is, like, driver does all these loads, and they are not getting paid. The carrier is not getting paid until, if they're using a factoring company a few days later, or if they're working directly with brokers, they're not getting paid in a month or two, but you still have to pay for that purchase of fuel. So that's where the fuel cards come in handy. If you are working with a factoring company, and most likely you are, you already got your money from that load that you did, and then at the end of the week, then you pay for all the fuel that you used. So it's a convenience, okay? And these cards can be managed. You assign them to a driver. You can, if the driver loses them, you can cancel them. You order new ones if you need new ones. So it's a lot of convenience, and it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. You absolutely have to have fuel cards. I know some owner-operators, they, get like a credit card with fuel purchase points, and then they use that credit card, and they get more money that way from their credit card, okay? And then if you're an owner-operator, it's really up to you. You can pay whatever you want. It's easier, just to pay for one truck. If you're a carrier, you have a lot of trucks, and it's a lot of money. I also heard some of these owner-operators, they like, these credit companies, these fuel points are meant for cars. Like if you go to a gas station and you get fuel in your car, then you get those points, you get those rewards. They're not meant for, commercial, for big trucks and for a lot of fuel. And then sometimes they realize that, and they tell them, hey, you can't use them anymore. This is not what it's for. Okay, so those are the fuel cards. Do dispatchers need fuel cards? Well, dispatchers don't need fuel cards because they can't use them. There might be a way where you can, get a fuel card from a fuel company, or like, fuel card company, like Fleet One in my case. But I don't know if they require you to have an MC number or not. But even if they don't, then you can, get a fuel card, and then maybe you can just attract drivers that way and tell them, hey, here's a fuel card. But then you have to charge the driver for the fuel, because they're going to charge you for that fuel at the end of the week. So you have to really think that through if you even want to do that. Another thing that you can do, you can offer, like with me, with this agent program that I am with RTS, you can talk to fuel companies and ask them, hey, I'm an independent dispatcher, and do you can you sign me up? Do you have any programs where I can earn a percentage if someone signs up through me? And then you can offer it to your carriers. But then all you do is like you're just acting as an agent, and then they sign up with the fuel company in their own name. You may get like $100 from that or something like that. Okay. So I hope this video helped you. I hope you'll come back for more videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.